Hello, hello. Welcome to your reading today. So, hopefully, you've been doing well. Welcome to March. We're going to do a reading today on support, like a supportive message moving forward. So, this could be something to help you move forward or just a message along your path. Take it however it feels correct for you. I'm going to pick the 3 piles to start off with. Well, okay. Take these ones, pile 1, 2. Yep. 3. Okay. Also, we've just got like a little rhodonite crystal popping in. Just really wanted to come through. So this does kind of amplify healing of the emotional and physical. So this may be something that you need to hear, or it may relate to some kind of healing as well. But not necessarily. It just popped in when I was about to start, so I wanted to include it, and it'll stay there for the entire reading. Okay, pile number 1. You have the goddess Wang Mu, and Stomatolite. There we go. I haven't pulled this one before, so interesting. Rare success. Rare success. Okay. For pile number 2, you have goddess Durga and Hematite with Spear of the Guru Mother. Spear of the Guru Mother. Okay. The numbers here as well, 888, 888. And for pile 3, you have Ascended Master Buddha and Peridot with Wild Compassion and the number 333. So these will be your 3 piles today. Pick whichever one or ones call to you. Down below, there will be a timestamp so you can jump straight to your reading. Other than that, I'll give you some time to consider which piles are calling to you, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, hello, welcome to your reading, pile 1. So you've chosen Goddess Wang Mu and Stomatolite. Never really heard of Stomatolite or this Wang Mu. I have had a little bit of research just to have a look at what her story is and that kind of thing. What I'm getting here with the rare success as well is this like big transformation or big change, or there's some kind of like what came out very, very quickly. From this may be true for some. It's like this was an unexpected life, maybe coming down into this life. You might have had to pull some strings or have a particular style of contract to get into this life. In mythology, she is the wife of the Jade Emperor, so the highest kind of female or highest deity in goddess, I would say, in the Chinese, or it's kind of like it's spread around the area because it was back in the day, so you know, borders and stuff like that. But that kind of area, deity, she's like the highest in the pantheon. There's also stories of her coming from somewhere where it was like demonic. She was like causing catastrophes, that kind of thing, and started to make her way of ascension, essentially, which is really true for, I feel, Earth, with the shift that we're going through individually and also as a collective, and also the planet, plants, everything's like, there's a lot of shifts, so there's a lot of stuff changing very quickly in the world. So I feel like this is where this is coming through. Remember, this reading is in regards to support. So take this opportunity as you will. This is a path for great opportunity to rise, I will say, for you and maybe for you to help others as well. The support may be you supporting others. This is a confirmation of what you may already know. Okay. Okay, so interesting cards coming through today. We've got Sacred Sea, or Sacred Ocean. Yeah, Sacred Sea. We've got the Mystic Martians. We've got this one, which is the Path of Light, which is it's taking quotes and information from the Bhagavad Gita. And then we've got the Golden Age coming through, and I feel like that's kind of touching in with her energy as well. This feels like Golden Age energy. Like this is a good time to be able to clear, to help, to support, like a lot. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're in as a human, and also at a soul level as well, like as a higher aspect. And then we've got this one, the usual. This is the Light Seers Tarot. I just like that because it's small and it helps with fitting cards on screen. And we've also got Starseed message, like Starseed. So we'll see what comes through. Okay. I think I can put this one down here. So we'll see what comes out, but that's what I've gained from here with this one card, just to start the reading off with. Okay. So a message on your path moving forward. Wow. Came out so clearly. Okay, it's going to be a lot of cards, a lot of tarot. These ones are kind of like a mix of tarot anyway. They're a mix of tarot and... I mean, you can read them as oracles, or you can default back to like tarot. I just like that it's not super traditional. Because nothing stays set forever, right? Nothing. Okay. You might not be able to see all of them, but I'll make sure I hold them up to the camera. No, not those ones. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take those 3. Oh, it's a lot. Okay, I've got a lot here. I'm going to take them all. Let's put this up there. Sorry, I just had to mute because I had a bit of a cough. Just getting over a flu. I shifted a lot of stuff, and I think it's good to shift a lot of stuff, but all at once it can cause, like, you to slow down, have to stop for a moment, and that was what I needed to do. All right, so for part 1, it's upside down. You've got the Akashic Gaia Gateway, deepening self-knowledge. Yeah, this really does feel like kind of when I was talking about you going, you either coming here on like I wouldn't say like a whim, but just like you had to organize certain things to be able to come down into this plane, maybe like take on some extra stuff. But whatever it is, you've been able to successfully get to where you are now through maybe many trials, maybe difficult things, maybe just helping people through difficult things. Maybe you didn't go through it, but if you're helping someone, you're going through it with them. There's no like complete separation from everything, right? We're not robots. We feel, we have compassion, that kind of thing. And this is where I think you've learned a lot about what you can do, what you can withstand, what's right and what may need shifting in the world. You have an ideas and opinions, and they're all very true to whatever you're going through. So very interesting with this one. This doesn't necessarily say all that I've said just in that, but it does feel correct. Deepening self-knowledge. You're learning more and more. Everything you do is teaching you more about yourself and understanding about yourself. You may be going on a path of learning self-discovery. Not just self-discovery though, it does feel like learning. When I say self-discovery, I don't mean just this human form. I mean your soul, discovering your soul's progress journey and personality, let's say. Okay. Yeah, you've got Dharma coming through. This is part of your path. You might have had some troubling things, but there haven't been things that have happened to you. You've organized some of the stuff, and certain things have happened that, may have not been part of the plan because this is Earth. There's billions of souls here, right? Trying to make their way through this game, I guess, of Earth game. And so there's no set path. There's free will always in everything. You can choose it. You think you can do one thing and well, I can't because if I do that, something bad will happen. It's like, well, you have no idea. You don't know, but you still have free will whether you choose that. If you have already put a perception on a particular path, then you're probably going to find exactly what you think you will find because you'll be looking out for it, any sign for it, even if it's small. You'll be like, there we go. See, I told you I was right. So it's interesting that that's kind of coming through, but I would say this has been a success. And when I say rare success, it's been, you wouldn't think of, especially in maybe some religions, mythology or stories with like, the angels falling and then turning into demons. We see them as like separate to angels when really they're all part of the similar soul family, right? So moving up and maybe even some shifting down to help and assist where they, come from, that's very true too. That seems very true for some of you. Assisting is like an aspect of support and supporting others. And also there's always a path to shift up. You don't just do something wrong and then demonize forever. Some people may do that to others, but we're not here to judge. They're generally here to judge themselves. We're here to judge ourselves because we're the ones that make choices for us. Everyone else makes choices for themselves. So anyway, Dharma's coming through. I'm getting onto like a tangent, I feel, because it's coming up with so much information that it's just, I'm trying to filter it into this reading. Palladians, this is where it all comes from, right? We go through many different challenges and phases and stuff like that, but it's all about unconditional love, and this is where the Palladians come through. Palladians are interesting beings. I've met some people who, to me, feel like they are starseeds of Palladians, and you would think that's very different to Palladians, but it's because where they come from. There's lots of different Palladians, right? Lots of different probably systems out there, beings out there that aren't all the same. There's different beings that are just human, right? We don't all agree on the same thing. Imagine that. It would be a very different world. I'm not going to say better or worse, it'll just be very different. But same with Palladians, there's probably different even species or beings. So they're not always going to be exactly the same. But from what I've felt, this planet has a lot of emotions. You get a lot of emotions here. And where they come from is very, very different. They don't seem to have the level of emotions. They have higher levels of other things and different ways of being who they are. And humanity has a different way of being who we are. So where it all comes back to is the energy of love, not just like romantic love, which I think is what we kind of coin love as. That's just one part of like a bigger pool. It's kind of like saying there's water is this lake and that's it. There's oceans, there's rivers, there's streams, there's waterfalls. There's so much more than just this one lake in this one area. Okay, what an interesting reading. I think we're going to start flicking the tarot. Excuse me. But this is a lot to reflect on, I feel. We can get caught up in our path, like our dharma, our like what we're supposed to do, or what we came down here to do. I've seen people get so caught up in it that they've kind of sacrificed their mental or their body or whatever to just focus on that, and they haven't focused on being a human. They're kind of like up there all the time. That could be a lot of starseeds. And then some starseeds come down and they just get caught up in the drama, and then they're just like, I just want to go home, but they're actually just stuck. They just keep going round and round and round circles. You're here to do something. You've planned it. If you don't think you have, well, then you're denying it. Have a look at it. Think about it. Go into it. Certain things have happened in times where they've needed to shift and move you. So it always comes back to why you came here. The Akashic does kind of touch on the Akashic records, like, you know what I mean? This is one life among many. Okay, let's take a look at your cards. So you have the Two of Pentacles. This does feel like as above, below, that kind of balance between Earth and the higher realms. You may be connected to the higher realms more. That's fine. At certain parts of life, you will be connected more, but you don't live there, right? You live here. If you were meant to be up there and stay up there to do the work up there, you would have done that. But you're here. Queen of Pentacles. I do like that. It does feel like comfort of life. Ace of Pentacles. Lots of pentacles. Definitely here to do something. You may be actually here to create something too with this 5. Like there's this aspect of victory and where the success comes through. There's many people helping. I know it doesn't look like they're kind of competitive, but there's many people going for not the same role, but the same goal. Everyone's working towards it. We don't have to compete because the person who falls, it feels like they're all part of the same team. So there's some new beginning here. I'm trying to see it. It could be a new way of settling into the planet, settling into acceptance in some parts. That could be through life, could be through loss, could be through like work. It feels like some kind of settling in. And you got the 7 of Cups. It's like, okay, so while you've talked a lot about the Dharma and what I'm meant to do, what do you want to do? What are you called to? Whatever you're called to will have some play into this. However, you don't have to go through the path exactly as it's set, because we don't really know it fully anyway, unless we're beings that have full access, right? And even then, it's filtered down through our human body and self, so we can get things, maybe take things in ways that aren't fully what they were meant to be expressed in. But you still have free will and full choice. This does feel like some procrastination, but it also feels like opportunity. Okay. You also have the 5 of Light Codes, which is the 5 of Wands, so you're getting it twice, and it says harmony and adversity. Wow, that's such a good way of putting it. It's like that finding balance in challenges. Knowing that you are creating a life that you'll be fulfilled in and successful. This feels natural. This Queen of Pentacles, she's like, it feels like she's creating, I don't know, it's kind of like someone who runs like a herbal shop or a witch's store or something like that. Not witchy, but just like, you know, earth kind of like magic or something like that. Not saying that that's part of your role, but it just feels like, you know, that's success, not what we kind of always see as like loads of money. It's like the environment that you create around you. Do you feel comfortable with it? You know, there's people going around, like especially young people like Gen Z, getting not caravans, but like trucks and stuff or vehicles, and just driving and just like living almost a nomadic life. And it's really interesting. You know, they show it and on different platforms, and you know, make money that way. So you know, they're funding their living, and they're just discovering themselves in very different ways to how people would have 50 years ago, because it wasn't that kind of opportunity. But you can utilize anything as an opportunity to do something in this world that you are in love with, I want to say, or that you're really heartfully drawn to. We've also got the waterfall, which is really interesting, number 77, Priestess of Earth Guardians. Again, the Priestess of Earth Guardians is this Queen of Pentacles, so you're getting kind of double ups. I do like that it's waterfall, and like when I was saying, it's finding that balance. These two fish feel like yin and yang. It also reminds me, because I'm watching on Netflix the Avatar Last Airbender, and I've seen the cartoon. I remember the movie that came out many years ago, well, the anime, I should say, before that. And now, this is popping up. And now it's popped up again. It's just come out on Netflix. I'm not trying to advertise it, but I enjoy it. I find it pretty cool. Anyway, the reason why it's kind of popping up is there's like a part in the movie. I haven't watched the full series, but there's part in the movie where like something so delicate has like the spirit of something so grand, and we take granted of certain things, and we do that in our life every day. And that's part of being human. We don't always appreciate being able to have power, water, go for a shower. It's just like expected, right? And you can even feel that sometimes, like I'm now getting over a cold. It's like when you get sick, you really appreciate when you wake up healthy, right? And you're not coughing, you're not sneezing, you don't feel drained. You feel normal drained, let's say, or just like general feelings of health. So then you start to appreciate it when you're feeling the ebbs and flows of like our body and our spirit and whatever is happening to us at that time. So that's very interesting with this coming through, but I feel like for you, you're meant to create an environment that you are pleased with and that you feel comfortable and confident in. Okay. You've got the Two of Activations, which really does go quite well with the Seven of Cups. This attune and recalibrate. The greatest kind of steps forward for you with this message right at the end is just saying, the quickest way forward is to slow down, is to stop and consider and think and feel what is right for you. Utilize that mind, but don't only utilize the mind. Utilize your emotions, but don't only utilize your emotions. Utilize the material, but don't only utilize the material, right? There's so much stuff out there. Like same with spirit. You don't live up there full time in this body as a human. You can access that, but you don't have to live in there, because that's leaving this life form. This is leaving the body. And that is not why you came down here, to leave the body. Not at this moment, anyway. Okay. Definitely here to help with ascension. I feel like you probably already knew that. But this is also ascending your own soul in a way. This is an opportunity to grow in your own way. It says here, your soul is evolving to higher states of consciousness. You are ready for this. Absolutely. You've gone through the hard stuff. This feels like you've already done the hard yards. So the next stage is, while you might feel tired or exhausted, this is all an opportunity. So what's next for you? What do you want to start building and creating? I would start tapping into, what kind of life do I want to live? What do I want to be known for? Not from an ego perspective of someone else. What do I want them to think about me? What do I want to think about myself when I finish? What do I want to feel when I go through my past life, like not past life, but my life review at the end of life? Regardless of what has happened to get to here, it's like, what do I need to do now to ensure that I'm, proud of myself and that kind of thing? Because you should be proud of yourself already for what you've been through to get to here. However, what is it? What kind of environment do you want to have around you, I should say? Because this is the Two of Swords, this attune and recalibrate, the Two of Activations. This is the Two of Swords, which is that, decision time. There's no rush though. There's absolutely no rush with any of this. There's not a timer on it. There's no egg timer and it's beeping at you. It's none of that. You might feel it, but I can't see it. It's just not here in the cards. Okay, but you have full access, I feel like, to the past, what you need to get from here to help you with your journey. It is all about unconditional love, right? That's the power or the energy that propels us through life. And you've got to where you are due to many different things, and you're finding, like, now is to try to find a balance between the material, the world, and what you can do, and how can you help yourself and others. It's like all that. But I really feel this environment is important, creating an environment that you're happy with and where you can find harmony in the challenge and find learning from the different challenges you've either been through or will go through in future, because nothing's going to be smooth sailing from like start of life to end of life for anybody on the planet, because that's not what it's about. Okay, that's exactly what I see in your reading today, pile number one. Really interesting. I know it's kind of like a very general message, I guess because it's pick a pile, but it really does talk about your purpose in this reading, and the support is here for you. You support yourself. You have your guides obviously with you. Of course, you've gone through the hard stuff. Now it's just like the kind of like expected certain things popping up, and you know, some of the unexpected, which will be which path you choose, will be up to you. But how it comes through is whatever the universe has prepared. Okay, thank you so much for letting me read for you, pile number one. Take care, and I'll see you in your next reading. Welcome in, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. So you've chosen Goddess Durga and Hematite, Spear of the Mother Guru. This is so interesting. You can see this big like black lightning strike through here, and it really does feel like exactly what it kind of looks like too. It's taking on demons, or taking on your own inner demons, right? Your own thoughts and fears that manifest into like a shadow or something like that. So it could be something from a past experience in this life. Fear, you know, all those kind of emotions that lower our vibration, and fighting through them. To be someone who can assist with helping others, it's really from being able to go through those things and feel them and process them yourself. Some people don't just process themselves, they might just help others and contain their own. However, they have to work through their own at some point. And this is support for moving forward. So this may be a reading that's going to touch on your own inner shadow darkness challenges, let's say. Darkness isn't like negative, like a negative entity. Nothing's negative exactly with how this reading's going to go. It more feels like the challenges, and Hematite is also very cleansing and absorbing of you know, I would say globules, I think it's kind of coming through, of just negative energy that could come through arguments with people, dealing with difficult people, or even just ourselves, or even our mental from the past and situations that have occurred. But this is also a very high, kind of feeling like mother goddess as well. I've seen depictions of her with many arms, with many different weapons, taking on darkness. So triumph over good and evil, let's say. When it doesn't feel like good or evil, it just feels like triumph over our own fears that hold us back, and pushing forward onto the things that we know is going to be good for us. We just have to have faith and trust in self. So this may be where your reading's going to go down. Okay, grab one of these ones first. Got a hodgepodge of cards, like different mixture here. The ET cards really wanted to come through. This is my only deck that really has a lot of like dedicated to extraterrestrial type energy. But yeah, we'll see what comes through. This is the Path of Light Oracle, very much connected with the Bhagavad Gita. So I feel like this is definitely something to mention, since you have chosen a Hindu goddess. And Sacred Sea. I do like this because it doesn't actually pertain to any specific gods, goddesses, or anything on the planet. It's just about the natural world, the supernatural world. It's an interesting one. Okay, so we're going to take those cards and we'll grab some tarot. So remember, this is a message of support. At its base level, it's about helping and healing and processing, and this is to help you move forward. Really, this is a supportive message to help you move forward in life, whatever you decide that forward momentum is. This is all support. Feeling like this one. Okay, they're going to be a little bit cut off, but you'll see most of the cards and you'll get the general message of what this reading's going to be about. Okay, that one's kind of like popping out. I'll take this one as well. Okay. Just got one of these cards too. So this one here is the Starseed Oracle cards. They have different backs because they all make a picture of, I think, I haven't actually put them all together, but it looks like a picture of kind of like an ethereal kind of spirit. Yeah, this one. You got the eyes. Interesting. Alright, let's take a look at your reading today, pile 2. So you've got the Greys, short, timid, misunderstood, and shy. Interesting card coming through here because, you know, you could see the negative aspects of these kind of like beings. From what I can feel with the energy of these beings, it's really touching on these kind of automatons or kind of like an artificial intelligence type energy. There's something like not fully true. There's like some kind of hybrid energy here with these kind of like, that's why they're shorter. I'm not sure. There's something with that. Misunderstood and shy. That's an interesting one coming through. I'm gonna have to get more energy, but more message. But there's something with here which is like, you know, it's not about just going out and cutting off the heads of like the bad things, right? It's kind of like this understanding. But if you misunderstand what your shadow is, you can kind of demonize it. But what you demonize goes into shadow. What you bring into light can be seen and then be understood and then be released and processed. That's kind of how it's coming through with this card coming out. Wow. Beyond pleasure. That's an interesting one. I'm going to have to read this, but this beautiful rose coming out does feel like a connection that you have in the higher aspects. I don't know if it's shadowing this or it's not allowing you to feel the benefits of the successes and the benefits of the challenges that you overcome. There's something here. I'm going to read the book actually now. I just need to know what this exactly means from the book's perspective, because what I get beyond pleasure is like ecstasy, right? Like the feeling of bliss, and it feels like the higher realms. So it's like, is there something there that's misunderstood? Is it something about yourself that's misunderstood? Is it something about how you see other people in the world that's like not fully true or understood? So let's see. Okay, I'm going to read this little excerpt. It says here, you should enjoy the material world and all it has to offer while ensuring that through moderation, you do not become habituated or reliant upon it, for such things can only provide momentary satisfaction. Remember that only things that can provide lasting fulfillment and nourishment is communion with the soul. So it's like a soul connection. There's no bad parts of your soul. There's like a need to understand, I feel, of why you would pick certain things in your life to come through. This is an excerpt from the Bhagavad Gita. It says here, pleasures of the world have a beginning and an end, and ultimately lead to misery. The wise do not seek happiness from them. Excuse me. The wise do not seek happiness from them. That is such a good point. It's so hard for us though, right? It's so difficult for us to be like, and it's not saying you can't have anything. You should seek them. Exactly what the book said. You should seek them, but not to fulfill you. They're there to support you. It's all like tools or energy that you can help create something that's going to be really fulfilling, or the feelings or emotions from within, being able to express them freely and fully. So, you know, we're moving pretty slowly through the cards, but this is like very important, it feels. Oops. All right, so you've got co-keepers of divine love, be in love. This is really, I thought it was coming through with like this card. I was like, is this like a romantic aspect of yourself from a higher level, or loving self, right? That's very much true, but it could also be about connections and relationships. So however this comes through, take it how it does, but it is coming pretty strong with like pleasure and love. It's like, it's almost like being with someone. It's like, it should feel like this. Why doesn't it feel like that? Maybe it's the wrong person. Maybe you have an idea of like, you're looking for a perfection type thing that doesn't exist, right? So it's like, this has to be the perfect romance. Everything goes perfectly. The love and everything is perfect. Not always true. This spear is also coming through with like almost like an arrow, sometimes through the heart, but I feel like it's also to really like fight for what you're getting, and that doesn't feel like that's the right path of like having to like battle or feeling like you're battling through it. Take a look at yourself and really look at that. Is that a true statement, or is that just like the mind going, yeah, this is what's happening? Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. It's okay to question and reflect. But yeah, be in love. Definitely love for self, love for the path, love for the journey, even though it's like not an easy one, right? That's Earth though. And again, you chose to come here. I know some people feel like they were forced in a way, but they definitely did have some say in it. It's like they agreed to it and then changed their mind and everything was set up and it was too late. And then they were like, well, I was forced here. And I was like, well, you agreed to it at some point on some level. Just as you came down through the layers, you probably thought, uh-oh, what is this about? I changed my mind type thing. It doesn't feel like that's possible once you're already on the path. All right, let's take a look at your the Rhodonite there. Got the King of Swords. The High Priestess. The Five of Wands. This came out in the last pile too. The Ten of Cups. Yeah, true fulfillment. You have to go through the trials and tribulations, right? You have to come back to and learn many lessons, uncover many secrets, go through many challenges to really understand what true fulfillment is. It's not a person that fulfills you. It's not a thing that fulfills you. You fulfill yourself. You decide what that fulfillment is. You know, people that open up a bakery and start making their favorite food for people and that kind of stuff. That could be fulfillment for someone. Might not be for another person because it's all individual. We know that, but we don't think about it. We still go, oh yeah, but making the most money and having enough stuff and going on holiday. And it's like, you have to go on holiday because you don't like what you're doing, right? You don't enjoy, there's something about maybe what you're doing or that you don't enjoy that you need to like take this holiday. Sometimes the holiday is the exciting part, of course, but I mean like, I have to take a holiday. I need to get away from this. You know, that's if you're in that mindset, that's when it's feeling like a lack of fulfillment, because it shouldn't be just something that you do, you know, 2 weeks out of the year. It should be something that really is part of your life, daily life. Even if it's not your career, it's like a hobby, or it's like a space or 15 minutes a day that you can really find fulfillment and remind yourself of what that is for you in this lifetime. Yep, again, finding balance. I say again because this popped up in the last file. But if you're not from there, finding balance between your higher and lower aspects. Finding also balance with many different roles and choices and jobs that you have. You have to find the fun in life too. You know, you have to find the enjoyment. This does look like happy families, right? But it's really from a whole bunch of work. This is a whole lot of work to get here. It hasn't just been handed out and given to anybody. And there's always people that are going through many different challenges, not just you. And again, I feel like you're like, well, I know that, but do you actually think about that? Don't have to worry about other people's lives, but just consider it. Okay. You've got heartful communication with the initiate of activations. I do like heartful, especially next to be in love, but it's communication. It's like, are you speaking truth from the heart? Are you saying what you mean? Are you really thinking about what is true in life, not letting the drama of life paint a picture for you? What is the truth? Especially if it's with regards to looking for love or your relationship that you're in now. Got the Ace of Earth Guardians with Meadow. I do like this because it feels like a clearing where you can see many things. You don't know everything that's under the grass. One moment. Just getting over a cold, so I've got a bit of a cough and I didn't want to deafen you. Alright, so Ace of Earth Guardians. This is like the Ace of Pentacles. But I do like that she's here with flowers in her hair, right? This is an opportunity. Everything that happens in life is an opportunity, and how you react is how you react. Lots of support. This feels like a guide though, guiding you through the field, guiding you towards the real fulfillment. And I feel like it's not going to lead to a palace of gold and riches. It's going to lead to you, really. It's going to lead to your own heart space. Yeah, and again, Two of Portals, Stargate. This is like the Two of Cups. So we're definitely getting a lot of romance and romantic kind of like energy popping through. It's interesting that this is portals and it's a Stargate. This could come through many different lifetimes, many different challenges. Some of your past relationships, if you have an ex-partner, husband, wife, whatever relationship that you haven't really fully processed, this is where this may come through. And fighting the demons isn't fighting them, they're not the demon. The demon is what we've created in our mind. And processing that forgiveness is a huge way of releasing that. And forgiveness, it doesn't have to be done in person, it's done with yourself. It's all done. This is a big internal job, essentially. And not demonizing your mind, not demonizing your emotions, not demonizing your soul, spirit, choices. It's just about choosing how do I want to feel, and how do I get to where I would feel happy, or what do I want to speak in truth, and how do I do that now? It's all about the now rather than the past. Otherwise, Six of Cups would have come up through, right? Where there's some reflection. There's reflection, but it's not all about the past. So you're not really here to be told what to do. You're here to decide for yourself what fulfillment is in your life. I know we're talking about how to move forward. This is all a big reflection without actually reflecting on past events. It's just about, I guess the reflection side is looking at it, but then how do I utilize what I've already been through? And is there like chains or something holding me back so that I can move forward? It's really about progress rather than looking back and just staring at the past. Yeah, intuition. Trust your intuition. For some reason, he feels like intuition because there's like a bat with intuition. There's like the messages and signs that are around him and his own wisdom. This is like utilizing your intelligence, spiritual intelligence, mental intelligence, emotional intelligence. It says here, trust your intuition. It has been guiding you to the answers that you seek. Yeah, I feel like if you do like a meditation or whatever you want to do, that helps you connect with your soul, helps you quiet the tasks and voices or mind that's going on. Like, you know, I should be doing this or I should be doing that, etc., etc. That quiets that down. But again, there is a feeling of romance and connection. So this could be around twin flame, soulmates, whatever you want to call it. But this doesn't happen from them doing their bit. This happens from you doing what you feel is going to give you success right now. It's not about waiting for someone else. You're not a damsel. All right, that's exactly what I see. Thank you so much for letting me read for you pile number 2. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, welcome to your reading, pile 3. So you've chosen Ascended Master Buddha and Peridot with Wild Compassion. I do like this. This does feel like it's going to tap into this rhodonite and talk about healing. There's some kind of healing here. I don't know if you are a healer or if you're doing healing on yourself, or have done a lot, right? But this wild compassion is like understanding. There is this understanding, this level of understanding. I would say, while you may have that, always look at it from their point of view. You might have gone through something similar, but you're not them and you haven't been through what they've been through. And same vice versa. We don't want to be judged like that, so why would we do it on like the second foot? Something interesting here though with the Buddha, you know, his story is really interesting. I like his story because it goes from not like, you know, someone who's born and everything's perfect and they do everything perfectly. Like there was training and learning and obstacles overcome, which I feel like is with all Ascended Masters. They didn't come here just being like everything's perfect, no matter what's written in whatever books out there. I feel like they've gone through many different challenges, difficulties, maybe looked at things in different ways and been like, why is the world like this? And, you know, completely changed people's lives by living their truth. And I feel like that's very true for Buddha, which is where the wild compassion comes from. I do like that it's wild because it feels like, you know, there's still a exciting aspect of it. It's not just sitting there almost meditating, which I know is very similar with some monks potentially, and maybe that's their path, but this is more dynamic than just going to a temple and praying or sitting with your thoughts. If you are called to that, of course do, but if you've chosen this pile, I don't feel like that's exactly your path. Is something different. All right, let's get some cards. All right, so remember this is support. This is all supportive, a support message for moving forward on your journey. This is just one eye or ear or opportunity for you to look at. It's not telling you to do anything other than what you feel is correct for you. Let's move these up here. Okay, and last tarot. Yeah, it comes back to this green energy too, the heart space. Like, I don't know Buddha's full story. I haven't really looked into all of of every single ascended masters or anything, goddesses, gods, all that stuff. However, I do feel like, he grew up very in like a higher society or with wealth, and then the compassion aspect comes through with like looking at the world like, oh, it's not exactly like this for everybody out there. Everyone has a different world, and to be fair, we would think, well, of course it's not, but to someone who's never seen or been able to step out of their their environment, how would they know? How would someone know? Excuse me, got a bit of a cough, just getting over a cold. All right, so let's take a look at your reading. Remember, this is a reading around support and moving forward. All right, so you've got the tall greys coming through with utilitarian, organized, and intimidating. Really interesting when we're talking about Buddha. It's like the complete opposite. Don't get caught up in what's happening on the news or around the world, especially to move forward. There's lots of different things happening. There's lots of stuff that, doesn't align with light and love and healing and helping. We as one person can't control or change everything. We have influence, of course, and what we can do. You're really, really, really being kind of like looked at, especially if you're stuck in like a box as well. Because with Buddha, not like he was stuck in a box, but it did feel like he was, protected or confined. And this is like stepping out of that. So if you feel like you're a part of an organization or a religion or something like that, where you're like, oh, I can't go here because that's evil, but I'm called to it. It's not going to hurt to look at something and see. If you think channel is a evil or something like that, but they're talking about love, what does that really tell you? If they're talking about healing and helping and companionship and love and compassion and all that stuff, like if it's a demon, it's doing a pretty bad job, right? It's not doing its job to shake us up or betray us or anything. It's talking about love. So it's okay to question things. That's not blasphemy in my eyes. Anyway, blasphemy in my eyes would be ignoring our own inner intelligence. It's like giving our sovereignty away to someone else so we don't have to deal with our own issues. We're just like, you deal with it. Not today. Yeah, the one and the many. This is a great way. Literally what I was kind of talking about before, right? I was talking to, we are all, sorry, just trying not to cough. All right, so I'll start again with this one. So it says here, the one and the many, and that's very true, where we can't just do one, we can't just do everything that's happening with everything that's negative in the world, right? And fighting it will exhaust us. We have to be the shift, make the changes in our own life, live our truth, and other people that feel that resonance will also see it and learn and grow and try to shift and change with that. There's no point going to an area where they're not going to listen because you're just going to be fighting on deaf ears. It's going to be the argument or the debate. It's just going to be falling on deaf ears because one person wants to like convince the other and this one wants to do the same, and it's just not going to happen. How do we do it? By living our truth and living the best way we can possibly without judgment of others or ourselves. So we are one in the many. What one in the many means to me is just like a standstill is about not judging others, not putting others down into shadow, even if they do horrible things in the world, right? It's shining a light on it and saying, this is what's happening here. And if you have an opportunity to question someone like that had did something bad, we never know where it comes from and why they're doing it, and how to heal and shift. War, hatred has never really solved any problems ever. peace, compassion, understanding is always where it's been. Okay. You also have the Whale Gatekeeper with innate, infinite, and wisdom. A lot of learning in this life. A lot of opportunities to grow here too, this Whale Gatekeeper. It's like this slow-moving animal, right? But goes on a long pilgrimage, I want to say. It feels like there's a lot of learning from the oceans and the areas that they go through. There's certain areas where there's going to be orcas, you know, which are dangerous to some whales, that kind of thing. There's going to be areas where there's going to be boats and humans, so you have to kind of steer clear of that. But, you know, all this kind of stuff is popping in with this card. So you'd like learn along the journey. The journey isn't trying to harm you, it's trying to teach you and give you the knowledge, because we don't remember everything in this lifetime. In this body, we don't remember everything we've gone through in every single past life. We may remember and connect with some stuff, but it's like nothing compared to everything that we've touched on or gone through. So I feel like that's coming through too. I want to say you don't have to separate yourself from the collective. All right, let's take a look at your tarot. So you've got the Page of Swords. Whole lot of learning, right? This Whale Gatekeeper feels like your guide, almost like like the intelligence guide, or one of the guides that looks after the records, the Akashic records. And then we've got this one, learning and new ideas. You are meant to do something that comes from you uniquely, living life your way. You've got the Tower card. I do like this tower because it looks like it's occurring, but it's also like a black hole, like it's sucking the past away, or it's sucking the tree, the ground, the situation away. It's taking it all away. And sometimes that's not exactly what happens. It doesn't get taken all away, it just gets brought to the light. So if there was trouble in a relationship, if that's brought to the light, that's when the couple can start dealing with it. If it's trouble at work, when it's brought to the light, the truth, that's when we can start dealing with it. You can't deal with anything if we've just demonized it or pushed into the shadow and seen as it's like a negative thing. Or this person's doing that, we're going to judge them. They're not going to feel confident, comfortable enough to show their truth, which may be something where they can be helped. So this is where the compassion is really coming through. It's not just the word, it's going to be true compassion. If you chose this pile, true compassion. Ace of Wands, starting a new fire. I like this. We've got the Eight of Cups. Yeah, there's a lot of moving away from the old. Healing from the old and starting to connect with people. This feels like mastery, but it is also cooperation. You know, you can't do everything by yourself. You can do your part. You're not being judged by it. But you can't do everything. Can't do everything. If you know your human design, some of you may have a left angle cross, which is, how do I fulfill my purpose? Is with people if it's left angle. If it's right angle, it's like individual. But that doesn't mean we don't have like influence and information from others. But definitely the left angles are meant to do it as in a collective way. Support others to support the whole. Okay. You have the Radiant Feminine with Priestess of Light Codes. I do like that. That's also can be seen as the Queen of Wands. You have Snow, the Five of Earth Guardians. There is this like aspect of feeling isolated or judged. It's an interesting one. But sometimes those situations really build our character with this one, right? We understand what's important to us and who we are. So the Queen of Fire, I guess, has like, you know, she can come across with stubborn or attitude, but also she's understanding who she is and she knows her worth. She doesn't have to say it either. She doesn't have to tell people she just radiates it, and that lets them know. And if they cross lines, she doesn't just pounce on it, she really kind of just lets them know, and that's it. It's not about what kind of like way you say it and like how funny it would come across. It's really about just letting people know what your boundaries are, and once they know, they know. And you can do that in a compassionate way. You don't have to do it in a toxic way. Action plan, 2 of light codes. So what's next for you? How will you move away from the past or let go of the difficulties that may have popped up in life? How do you start reconciling with yourself and start helping others or working with other people? Because this like overhead kind of like situation of like feeling like you're puppeteered or something like that doesn't feel like the truth. It feels like there's a need for an integration with your higher self or your soul self, connection with your guides, connection with people in general, not feeling left out. The snow is kind of like slow moving, right? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It all comes back to healing, emotional healing with the rhodonite. Has many different meanings, but there's like it feels like emotional healing and also physical healing. Forgiveness, again, I've said this in a different pile, but it doesn't come from you having to face the person. It comes from, it's your own inner choice to forgive and move on. And then sometimes we need to forgive ourselves for holding on to that for so long, or whatever it is, holding on to this anger that's really slowed us down, that's caused us physical pain over time, right? You might have got like back issues or feet issues, or like and it's like blaming other people or blaming something else. Anyway, let's have a look at your last card. Vision. Trust your ability to create the vision in your soul. Yeah, I love that it's popping up with the Ace of Wands. Really, on the light side, I know I've talked about probably some of the heavy stuff, but on the light side here, there's a huge opportunity, like action plan here, to create what you want to create and see what you want to see in the world. If you want to see compassion and love, then live it. Don't attack people for not living in a way that you think is correct. You know, just live your truth and you'll win the like hearts of others. That's kind of how it feels. You'll start to connect with others in a more natural and a more ease way, rather than, you know, a critical or judgmental way. It's a big learning. It's a lot of like growth here that will occur or has occurred already. But you know, you live and learn. The towers come through to clear the way of stuff that's just not in alignment with your path or truth. I know this wasn't necessarily a path story, but this was to keep you motivated or get you moving forward. And cooperation and leaving the past behind, cooperation with people, and, you know, making that plan and trusting yourself with your own intelligence as well. Especially here, you have a lot of good energy to be able to create what you want in this world and what you want to see in this world. It starts with you. Okay, well, that's exactly what I see, pile 3. Hopefully this has helped you. Let me know if you have any questions, of course, but take care of yourself. Hopefully this helped, and I'll see you in the next reading.